All right, well, welcome back again. Erin, so I just finished up shoot with Kat here. We figured we'd spend a few minutes just kind of talking a little bit about, what happened leading up to the shoot, the prep. So I sent over a mood board using Milanote, and it had, addresses and photos and other things on it. I just wanted to get kind of your take. What is it you like to see when a photographer reaches out to you, as far as content on those mood boards? What don't you like to see? What is there such thing as too much information, or in the end?
I definitely would say there's never going to be such thing as too much information. I wish a lot of photographers would actually communicate more as far as planning for wardrobe, what the mood is, inspo. A lot of times I'll even have people, I'll have to harass them about like the address for where we're shooting at, because I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. We planned for this day, and I'll have to like follow up week of sometimes and plan a time. I prefer to do all of that like the second we pick the day to schedule the photo shoot.
Right.
It's my preference, like the moment we schedule the shoot, that there's already a time set in place. We already know where we're meeting at for the location, and we already have like a pretty good idea of what we want to do for the shoot as far as wardrobe and everything goes for the theme. Because some people don't think to plan all of that out right when you set it up, which doesn't really make sense to me, but everyone has their own things that they like to do, and some just kind of like go with the flow and then figure out what they want to do later and end up sending different details at different points. But I definitely think it's way more helpful to achieve what you want to do during the shoot. If you have like a goal in mind ahead of time, the second you set it up, right, you get a lot more done. I think it's way more effective.
Oh, absolutely. I generally, as a photographer, I think things I think of is, obviously location, time, or in, sometimes directions if it's hard to find a place or you're going somewhere new. But are in really and truly, even before you're setting up the location, when I reach out to a model, I generally have like just a general vibe of what I'm going to go for, right? So I generally, if it's not my own photos, or I go off the web and try finding something. If I do, I label those that, hey, this is inspo from the web, right? And this is kind of what I'm looking for, to kind of give an idea of, like you said, wardrobe and what you're looking for, mood and vibe, and basically, I want to make sure that when I'm recruiting somebody, that it's something they want to do too, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything besides photos when that initial reach out happens, like you like seeing from somebody? Or maybe a little blurb. I generally put a little blurb on there too, what I'm trying to do, right? Or final use.
Well, I feel like I touched on a lot of that already. I do like to know from photographers as well sometimes, like having an ETA in mind too, as far as like when I'm gonna receive proofs, when you want me to go through, and like what all you want me to select as far as that goes.
Right.
Sometimes photographers have a limit that they like to set on that. A lot of times too, I'll just be like, hey, I'll just like whatever and let you know that I'm okay with you editing whichever of these you want is, standard for what I usually do. If they pick a specific number, I can limit it down even more. But it's always been really easy for me to be like, okay, I like all of these, whatever you like of those works for me. As far as the mood board stuff though, I absolutely love that because it helps get myself in the mindset to like mentally prepare for what to do as far as being the model and showing up and being prepared for having pose ideas in mind. Right. But I also think when you have a mood board and the kind of like wardrobe, you get a lot of inspiration from yourself when you get into character in those outfits. Certain poses just come to you in the moment, and a lot of that stuff ends up, being some of the best shots you get to, as far as just being in the mindset for it.
So with that, right, so you mentioned, I like how you brought that out, and I talked about it a little bit on my previous podcast that I just finished filming, is, just posing and such. So once you get there, you have the mood board, you have the vibe, and you said outfits give you that mood, what you're looking for, and allows you to feel it. Right?
Exactly.
Get
in the moment.
I'm very, lax when I come to posing from a photography standpoint, right? Or just personally, I know a lot of folks, okay, all right, move your foot here. Okay, a little bit more over here. Now twist this other foot here. Okay, move your hand here. No, a little too much further. All right, and that's great. I mean, that can come up with a great shot, in my opinion. But when you're doing something that you're looking for an emotion for, where you're going to see the face, whenever I've tried doing that, I've never gotten the eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
That is a good point to bring up, because if you're too focused on trying to get a very specific pose down, you're lost in the eyes because you're thinking too hard about it.
Yeah.
When you are more in the moment and getting in the mood for what the ideas are as far as what we've put together
what
and
you're going
everything,
for, yeah.
it's just so much easier to get the face right too, because you are in the moment, like I said. Mentally, you're there. You're not away somewhere else trying to like go into overthinking mode. Like, oh, is my hand like in this perfect spot? Is my toe pointed the right way? You know, it gets a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? It kind of gets stiff.
Yes,
exactly. It looks unnatural. It looks forced.
Yeah, because you'll never sit here like this trying to look natural, right? But if I were, the photographer gives you and put yourself in a relaxing location, a beach or something like that. That allows you to, kind of get into that same thing. They might sit you and say, look this way or look that way.
Being comfortable and confident is a big part of that too.
Absolutely.
Big part of that.
And then tools, let's go back to like mood boarding and stuff, because that was kind of the topic I want to go to. Like, so I've used Milano, I've used Canva, and previously I've used Pinterest, and with all the photographers you work with, however, hundreds of dozens you've done, I'm sure you've seen a whole bunch of different tools.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite, or does anyone kind of stand out, or one over the other, or favorites?
I really do. I mean, you do a phenomenal job at it. I'm not going to lie. And I have had worked with a couple other photographers too that use similar stuff. I love the Canva one you mentioned. I like the way the layout on that looks a lot. I myself am a Pinterest girly. I use Pinterest a lot to help create mood boards for myself sometimes. But as far as what I've seen from other photographers, Canva is definitely up there with one of my favorites, just because it's so easy to see all of it. And you can add so much other stuff in that too, like you said, as far as like address and
you can
location.
Pop anything in there, right? Or screenshot of Google Maps and screenshot the website.
Those direct links are extremely helpful.
Awesome. Or anything else you think photographers should know about when you're setting up shoots, or kind of reaching out? Whether it be a first time or even a repeat thing. I'm
trying to think. One thing that I've learned over time too is it's always better to be over prepared than under prepared. Like, if you're not sure about bringing something, just bring it anyways. I've definitely almost brought stuff and then didn't, and I'm kicking myself for it later. Always good to have a bunch of different shoe options to work with as well.
Right.
I'd rather bring too many shoes than bring one pair and then oh no, I don't have anything else,
No, absolutely. And that goes for the photography side too, right? I mean, I've been both sides of the thing. I've packed, today I've actually packed really light, one bag and a couple of things. And
certain things, it's good to do that.
Yeah, and my objective was very limited. I knew I had a set of stairs I was going to have to climb, right? So I trimmed things down a little bit. But there's plenty of times where I'll make 4 or 5 trips into the studio when I get there, just hauling stuff in and hauling stuff in. And at the end of the day, you have that mood board, right? You have what I'm going for, but when you get in the moment, it's like, man, I wish I had that crown.
It definitely is good, though. That's a good point, too, to plan to pack according to location, too. Because if I'm doing an outdoor shoot and I know we're going to be doing a ton of walking, I try to make sure that I specifically have planned out the outfits that I know I'm going to do already, and that I can fit them in my backpack, because then you can just throw it on and go. But you also want to be careful about certain things still I'll have on hangers and a little clothing bag, or sometimes I'll just have the hangers where they're easy to carry. But certain clothes you do want to try to avoid wrinkles as far as that goes as well. So, but also pro tip, I don't always bring it, but I've brought it before and used it. There's wrinkle sprays that you can use that actually work really well. You'd be surprised, and you just can dry brush the wrinkles out when you spray it. So that's a fun trick. But I try to bring a lint roller on me sometimes too now. I'll keep a lint roller in my bag. I've also learned the hard way, pro tip to other models that aren't used to, doing a bunch of shoots, leave a thing of bug spray in your bag if you're shooting outside during bug season. I got a good one where it's just little the essential oil type stuff, so it's not over chemically, like, you know, like lemongrass kind of thing.
Definitely.
Keep them away.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Like, so like I have a outside shoot bag and I have my normal studio bag.
Yep.
And my outside shoot bag, it has those things in it. It has some suntan lotion. It has the bug spray in there. I have some little roll of duct tape that I've kind of rolled up so it's so small. So if I need to tape something up to the tree, I can do that real quick or whatever.
I always try to keep little things like, you know, like clothing tape, just simple
Safety
stuff like
pins.
that in my bag that you might need at any given shoot. So just little tricks you pick up of things that you don't initially always think that you might need to have on you.
Or might not think about it every time, right?
Yeah.
It's good to have a to-go bag. And
exactly,
like,
where it's already in there, you don't even have to think about it.
Exactly, and if you have different situations you shoot in, outside, inside, or in fashion shoots versus bikini shoots, you might have two different, you know, bags ready to go for those situations, right? And that can be helpful. That way you don't forget it. When you, after you thought about it once, you packed it in the next shoot, and then the third shoot, if you didn't keep it in the bag, you might forget it.
Ready to go,
But awesome. Well, I appreciate spending a few minutes talking about shoot preps, and you know, maybe next time we'll pick up a different topic. And
it's good talking.
Thanks, Kat.